Do you think you're ready for this, Sakura? Ino asks. For once, Naruto wasn't with the two of them. She was out training. To be a Chunin? I don't feel like I'm at that level yet, but I do want to take the exams. I want to know how far I've come. Good, because I'm looking forward to kicking your ass, Ino says. While they were both still chasing after Naruto, competing against each other was a more realistic goal. I won't even need to use my trump card to deal with you. I'm not sure you even have a so-called trump card. Despite what she said, Ino was actually a little hurt that Sakura didn't trust her enough to share her new technique with her. Just wait and see, Sakura said. Now, to summarize. Sakura of course points out the genjutsu that tries to trick them into being on the wrong floor. The fight between Sasuke and Lee doesn't happen since it already did in the 2-month break. Kabuto makes first contact and Naruto asks after Gaara. Well, she doesn't actually know his name yet, but she does eventually get the right card through his connection with Temari, whose name she does know from the past she showed before. It seems like you don't actually have a lot of information on him. It is more difficult for ninja not from Konoha who haven't taken the exam before. I can tell you he has already taken a B rank before and he has never once gotten injured. Surely that's something, Kabuto said, seeming almost desperate for her approval of his intelligence gathering skills. I suppose that is still impressive, Naruto admits. Still, she was disappointed by the lack of information on Gaara's actual abilities. What information do you have on me and Sasuke? Kabuto smiles in amusement. Well, let's see. And Kabuto presents the 2 cards. Ha! You see that, Sasuke? It seems I've got you beat in both stamina and speed. This is pointless. His information is obviously flawed. I take offense to that, Kabuto says mildly. By the way, your cards are out of date. My ninjutsu is way better than is indicated here. Sasuke scoffs in response to her claim. Kabuto smiles at her. Well, I'll need to see proof of that. I'll be sure to correct your card once I do. Okay, so Naruto is brash enough to blab about her skills to a stranger. She isn't quite brash enough to shout out the challenge to the entire room like Ken and Naruto did. That said, they do draw enough attention to get the Sound Ninja to attack them. Remember, they didn't attack Naruto, who was the one to draw the most attention, but Kabuto. In my headcanon, this was planned to make the Leaf Ninja trust Kabuto more, and to get them to underestimate him when he got taken down so easily in this instant. One last thing. You might ask yourself, wouldn't Sasuke's card indicate he has completed an A rank mission? Well, no. As far as the Konoha bureaucracy is concerned, Wave is still counted as a C rank. Only a very small number of people know otherwise. Now for the written test. Naruto does figure out she's actually supposed to cheat here. The problem is that her techniques aren't exactly what you'd call subtle, or fit for intelligence gathering. Though after examining the rules a little, she does get an idea. She wasn't sure she'd get away with it, but it was the best plan she had. The only question was whether she should do it before or after the final question is given. She eventually decides to do it before. If people just handed in their papers once filling in the question, her plan would fall apart, and even if she missed the last one, she'd still have enough points to pass. Now she just needed a target. She didn't want to screw over any Leaf Ninja, so she decides on the most competent looking foreign ninjas she could think of. She waits until she suspects all but the final question has been filled out, and then Naruto starts moving her hair, making absolutely no attempt at hiding her actions, instead trying to be too quick for anyone to stop her. Her hair pierces her chosen exam paper and brings it over to her table. She scratches out the name of Gaara of the Desert and writes down her own name. "What do you think you're doing, Genin?" Ibiki yells, even directing a little bit of killing intent towards Naruto. Naruto swallows nervously and forces a smile. "I just cheated, Proctor-san. I believe that is a 2-point deduction." Ibiki glares but is inwardly pleased at his girl's audacity. She wasn't the first person to have ever discovered that loophole, but it was always fun to see. Especially the faces of all the other genin when they berated themselves for not thinking of it first. If you or anyone else tries something this blatant again during this test, you will automatically be disqualified. Naruto shrugs. Even if she didn't have the 10th question, she'd be left with 7 points, assuming Gaara had aced the 9 she did have. Someone went to collect her own empty test sheet and brought it to Gaara for him to use. Temari and Konkuro were looking at this open-mouthed, both thinking that his leaf Kunoichi clearly had some kind of death wish. Gaara just shrugs and starts writing down his answers again. He'd kill her for this later, and that will be that. Now as for the 10th question, this does legitimately scare Naruto, since she can't repeat her previous trick. She might be able to use a transformation jutsu to do something with her eyes and hide the fact that she was looking at someone else's paper. But she had little faith in that option. Or she could count on Ino to mind transfer the answers to her. Ino wasn't on her team, but if the situation was this real, she'd still bail her out. Surely. It's a near thing, but she does decide to take the 10th question. There is no dramatic outburst like Naruto did in canon. And what, you might ask, does Shikamaru do without Ino on his team to give him the answers? Well, his jutsu also doesn't lend itself to intelligence gathering. He may be smart, but he doesn't have the tools necessary to pull this off, and so... yeah, he's got nothing. He just rests his head on the desk and literally sleeps through the whole first part of the Chunin exams, not filling in a single question and passes by doing so. Kind of like canon Naruto, except way more chill. Now for the second task. Kiba uses his nose and tracking skills to find the same group of genin that Team 10 encountered in canon. Naruto sneaks up on them and just about one-shots them with her cutting great breakthrough. The most difficult part of it was to adjust the jutsu to the point where it would incapacitate them, yet not kill them outright. Considering that this version of Team 10 didn't rely on a trap but simply charged at the nearest team Kiba's nose could sniff out, they pulled this off even faster than in canon. And an Earth Scroll, Naruto says as she shows her prize to her 2 teammates. Well, that was ridiculously easy. You didn't even need us, Kiba says. Both Sakura and Kiba had been lying in wait in case Naruto's initial attack didn't do the job. So should we head to the tower now? Sakura asks. Kiba grins. I was thinking we could track down a couple of other teams and have some fun with them. I have been looking forward to this test and I can't say I'm satisfied yet. Sakura looked worried. Don't you think that's incredibly reckless? They both turned to Naruto, whom they both recognized as the leader. I'm with Kiba on this. Let's look around a bit first. Naruto didn't care all that much about the whole promotion thing, and had also been looking forward to test herself and her team against the others. Kiba, we're still following your nose, so look for the nearest team. And so Team 10 would stumble upon the same scene with Gaara and his siblings quote-unquote fighting the 3 genin from the hidden rain village, the one with the umbrellas. They observe quietly right up until the point where Gaara kills the ringleader. It should be noted that this is the first time any of them has ever seen somebody die. After that, and Gaara moves to kill the other 2, things take a different turn. Naruto suddenly moves out of her hiding place and interposes herself between Gaara and the 2 scared rain ninja. Enough! They are no match for you. There's no need to kill them. There was no need to kill any of them. Gaara looked very pleased to see her. Ah, good. This saves me the trouble of needing to go look for you. I was looking forward to killing you for stealing my test earlier. Naruto hadn't really thought things through when she jumped in to save the rain ninja, and only now realizes the danger she's in. She raises her hands in a placating gesture and smiles nervously. Come on, dude, it was just a little test. Is that really enough of a reason to kill someone? Gaara thinks about this question and then answers honestly. I think so, yes. Sakura and Kiba reluctantly join Naruto in the clearing. Akamaru is trying to hide himself in Kiba's jacket and is shaking in fear. "What are you doing?" Sakura hisses. "I thought we agreed to stay away from this guy." She points at Gaara. "He was going to kill them all, Sakura. Better them than us." "Hey, Gaara, maybe we should just let these ones go." Kankuro tries. "Why?" Kankuro points towards Sakura and Naruto. "Well, it would be a bit of a shame for two such cuties to die prematurely, don't you think?" "No, I don't think that," Gaara answers, and grains of sand begin to float around him. Kankuro shrugs. "Oh well, he tried." Naruto signals her plan to her team and starts flashing hand signs. Wind-style breakthrough! Her jutsu is accompanied by Sakura throwing several kunai with explosive tags, and Kiba adds a few smoke bombs. Needless to say, their attacks do nothing to Gaara, except create a large cloud of dust and smoke to block his vision. Tamari. Gaara says the name as if it's a command. Tamari opens her fan and blows the cloud away. When it does, Team 10 is nowhere to be seen. "They're running," Kankuro points out, somewhat redundantly. Tamari has an amused smile. "They show more sense than I had anticipated." "They won't get far," Gaara says and raises his hand as if to grab something in the air. Team 10 was indeed running away like the devil itself was after them. "We're being chased!" Sakura yells, trying to focus all her fear into simply running faster. A large wave of sand was indeed chasing after Team 10. "It's gaining on us," Kiba points out. "I'm too young to die. I haven't done anything with my life yet or even kissed a girl." He blinks. "Hey Sakura, do you think we could? Maybe if we throw you to the sand it will buy time for the rest of us to escape." "Shut up and run, you two!" Naruto yells. After a while, Sakura yells, "I know you two can run faster than this, just leave me behind." "Not in a million years!" Naruto screams. Kiba doesn't respond verbally, but he too has too much loyalty to simply leave both of his teammates to die. Eventually the sand overtook them and cast the Team 10 in a large shadow. Tendrils of sand started to cut them off from the front as well, like the maw of some great beast closing to swallow them all. They were all well and truly panicking at this point, all of them suspecting that these would be their last moments. Sakura had tears gathering in the corners of her eyes. "I'm glad I got to meet you guys," she wails. "I'm sorry, Akamaru," Kiba yells. Naruto still had one last idea to maybe get out of this, but it was crazy even by her standards. She wraps her hair around both Kiba and Sakura's waists. "On my sign, we all jump as high as we can." They didn't question her, and Naruto prepares the required hand signs. 1, 2, 3! They jumped and Naruto faces the ground at an angle. Wind-style great breakthrough! Even her strongest attack didn't seem to slow down the sand, but that wasn't the point. Without using chakra to stick to the ground, the huge knockback from the jutsu sent them all flying further into the air. They blow out of the sand prison just before it could close completely, and were sent soaring above the treetops. Naruto didn't let up on the jutsu, and continued using her technique to propel them further. "This is insane!" Kiba yells. "The tower is over there!" Sakura points. Though Naruto couldn't see her pointing, she had to keep facing towards the opposite end of the direction they were going. "To the right! No, my right!" After some more correcting, Team 10 was literally flying its way towards the tower, at a speed and altitude none of them had ever experienced before. Naruto, not that I don't trust you, but do you have a landing strategy?" Kiba asks. Naruto didn't, and briefly ended her jutsu to look at where they were going. She used a couple more bursts of her jutsu so that they just missed the top of the tower at an angle. She elongated her hair to grab onto the top and they started to swing around it. Naruto yelled in pain as her hair pulled at the scalp of her head. The chakra infusing in her hair allowed her to get away with a lot, but this was still pushing it. After swinging around the tower twice and bleeding away some extra momentum, she angled them towards one of the windows and... they burst into the tower. Considering that they didn't exactly enter through the front door, they didn't arrive at that little riddle room that told them to open both scrolls. Instead, they just randomly smash into the monitor room. Anko isn't there yet, but there are a bunch of unnamed and now very surprised Chunin. Where the hell did you guys come from? Never mind that, Naruto says. Just tell me, is fighting other participants allowed in the tower? No. Once you get to the tower and open the scrolls, the second part of the exam is over, and you're not allowed to fight until further notice. While Sakura hurries to open both scrolls, Naruto says, there are a couple of genin from the hidden sand village coming. Could you, maybe remind them of this rule? From the two open scrolls that Sakura opens, Iruka appears. He looks ready to attack them as he was instructed to do when someone opens the scrolls prematurely. But then suddenly he realizes where they are. Wait, you're at the tower already? How? That's what we would all like to know, some other Chunin in the room says. It's been... what? He looks at the time. 40 minutes. They just completely shattered the previous record set by Itachi Uchiha. Never mind the record! Could you go and watch for the Sand Genin and tell them of the rule that you can't fight in here? The Chunin takes a closer look at the little genin and notices that they all seem terrified out of their minds. We'll keep an eye out for them. In the meantime, there are rooms available for those who finish early. It will be a while before the next stage starts. You can recover in the meantime. Soon after they were settled into their room, Asuma comes to see them. He had a wide smile on his face. I should have made a wager on who would finish first. I am so going to be rubbing this in Kakashi and Gai's faces. Asuma-sensei, there is this psychotic sand ninja in the exam. He killed someone. Naruto says with wide, shocked eyes. Asuma fought down the urge to sigh. As he told his father, his genin, no matter how skilled, were very untested. Yes, Naruto, some participants do tend to die in these tests. It can happen in real combat. But it was completely unnecessary. They were absolutely no threat to him. Never mind that, Kiba says. Now he has it in for us. Naruto especially. He turns a pleading look towards Asuma. Could you, maybe, stay near us to make sure he doesn't kill us in our sleep? Asuma turns a stern look towards Naruto. Naruto, what did you do? I just stole somebody's test, that's all. Jeez, talk about an overreaction. And that's where we're going to leave things for now. Please join me next time for when we take a look at Team 7's run through the Forest of Death. Nikes out.